Assalamu alaikum everyone. Welcome to today's episode. I'm very excited to discuss this case with you. It's one of our worst cases that we ever saw, and alhamdulillah we had great results from it. So I'm going to be sharing those with you, and for you to really get a flavor of the type of information we share on our course as well as in our Google group for our Hijama community. I'm going to actually be sharing the emails with you as well as the pictures of the case so you can analyze. Hijama Nation has always followed Quran and Sunnah, and we know that there's a healing for every disease. So based on that, we feel that hijama cupping therapy can treat most conditions quite easily, especially because it is a divinely revealed therapy and it's a sunnah that our beloved Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, used to practice. Unfortunately, many other hijama practitioners get scared off with cancer cases or any other long-term conditions, but we find them challenging and we enjoy treating people with cancer, or even if they're post-surgery, if they've had any treatments done. We like to get involved with those cases so that we're able to help the client as much as possible. Most of our cases have been based on our own personal research and experiences with people in our own families who had either cancer or some type of abnormal lump in the body or tumors. And then step by step, we moved on to our own students had relatives with cancer or some type of abnormal lumps or tumors. And so we started treating them. And that's how the holistic hijama treatment system plan came into place. So our holistic hijama treatment system has actually been born from cancer research when we were treating people. Our 21-day diet cleanse and holistic hijama treatment system came into being at that time. And as we continued our research and got excellent results, that's when we perfected our treatment plan. And it's currently in our Hijama Diploma right now in version 6.0. So anyone who studies with us has access to that, inshallah. We found hijama cupping therapy to be very useful for our cancer clients when it came to pain relief, especially if it was post-surgery. And we found that the immune system got much stronger after any kind of radiation or chemotherapy as well. So we can't say that the hijama cleared up any cancer because some clients were coming to us after the cancer treatments, but certainly we can definitely say that it improved people's immune system and definitely aided recovery and gave them pain relief. I'm going to do a screen share now and share the case with you, so if you bear with me. So here's the information regarding this case. It was posted in 2017, but this was a short while after we had got involved with the case and we were finishing up treatments with the client. I actually posted this in our group and gave the case history. So it was the worst medical case that we've ever seen. Alhamdulillah, we've had hundreds of clients, but this really was one of the worst ones. And it wasn't so much because of the treatment itself, but it was literally because this woman's life had been completely destroyed by having the surgeries for so-called cancer. So the case history that she was a healthy female, age 34. She didn't have any previous illnesses or medication. And she just recently had a baby boy. He was a C-section delivery. And both mother and child ended up having severe chest infections in the first few days after delivery. In October 2016, she had some toothache and we'd advised her to go to an organic dentist to get some treatment done. And we felt that that would be the best thing for her. Sadly, she didn't follow our advice and she ended up going to the GP who sent her for some tests and a biopsy, and they saw a lump. And so within a week, her whole life changed drastically. So her first surgery was carried out on the 28th of November, 2016. Apparently they found a cancerous lump on her tongue and decided to carry out the emergency surgery, as well as remove the lymph nodes on the left side of her neck and cut out the muscle from her left thigh and attach it to her tongue to make it whole again. So within a week, this poor woman's life changed completely, and she had only half a tongue left and she could barely talk. She had very slurred speech and she was lisping very badly. She couldn't feel her tongue at all. She had horrible scarring on the neck and became very weak and depressed. And the surgery was very traumatic. Obviously, she was worried about her new baby, and her husband was trying to deal with her being sick as well as the infant. After this, the doctor saw another lump on the right side of her neck. So they told her to have another surgery as well as chemotherapy and radiotherapy. The second surgery was booked for the 10th of April 2017. We happened to find out about that because she's actually a distant relative, and some other relatives told us about her next surgery. So we decided to get in touch and just see how she was doing. We hadn't known about the first surgery at all. So once we spoke to her, she told us her husband brought us up to date and everything. Unfortunately, the doctors didn't actually do the biopsy for the second lump until after her surgery. So the doctors actually opened up the previous scars and cut up the other side of the neck, literally from ear to ear. And they took out the lump and lymph nodes and stitched her back up. They told her that her neck and shoulder nerves would be damaged and she may lose sensation and movement in her arms completely. She had a huge scar from one side of her neck to the other. And the worst thing was that after the drastic surgery, they found out that the lump with the biopsy was not even cancer. So she'd had this second surgery for no reason at all. At this point, they were still asking her to get chemotherapy, but she'd had enough and she was refusing now and wanted to recover naturally. So she said that she wanted Hijama Nation to help her out with the treatment plan. Now Hijama Nation had to help out and pick up the mess after whatever the doctors had done and made their major mistakes. Our targets were for natural recovery. We had to work on her mindset and approach because she was very depressed, completely despondent, had lost all hope, and really quite devastated because she couldn't really speak anymore. Her arm was weak and she could barely hold her baby. So we had to encourage her to do more research to empower herself. And the main thing was to increase lymphatic drainage. If we activated her system and got as much lymphatic drainage going from her body, we had to build her arm strength as well as improve her neck movement and mobility. And her tongue really needed to have work done on it so that we could improve the condition and get sensation back. We needed to improve her left leg and her foot and hopefully work on the scarring to reduce that. We needed to promote overall healing and recovery for her, as well as alleviate depression and her negative mood. We knew that with a combination of dry cupping, hijama, and speech therapy, she would be able to recover eventually. So we had to improve her confidence and have faith again, knowing that she would be able to recover as much as possible, inshallah. We also wanted her to be fully mobile and functional again, so she would be able to take care of her baby and hold him easily. The methods that we were going to use were our 3-week detox hijama plan. So that was the 21-day diet cleanse as well. And we used a combination of different coupling applications. We were going to use herbs, diet and hydration, juicing, detox, hydrogen peroxide, cannabis oil, sunnah foods and treatments, pink salt therapy, ruqya healing, breathing exercises, and exercise in general. This is our standard treatment plan that we follow for natural recovery, for cancer mainly, but also any other disease as well, which is terminal. So we decided to start off with 3 sessions, really to fast track her and get her going. It was 1 weekly session for 3 weeks. Throughout the procedure, I was posting in the Google group for our students and graduates to benefit from the treatment plans. This is from the first surgery, where they basically cut her tongue in half and they removed the cancer lump from the tongue as well. And these are the scars from the very first surgery. This is another close-up of the same image. You can see how the scarring causes her great discomfort. This is a very graphic image of her tongue. So literally this part is her natural tongue, and this is the thigh muscle, which they cut out and have sewn together with her tongue. So that's why she has no sensation of her tongue. She can't feel anything and she can barely talk because she's not able to put her tongue in the right position as she's verbalizing. And here's another close-up of that. So at this point, her tongue, her lips, and all of her chin around this area were completely numb. This is the first session when she came to us. The first session that we did was a combination of different cupping applications. So that was fixed cupping, hijama cupping, and moving cupping. Although we used a lot of cups that's based on our experience and knowledge, obviously we wouldn't encourage brand new students or untrained people to be performing hijama cupping therapy like this for such severe cases. And obviously we did the full medical history beforehand, and we don't make claims to cure cancer on a medical level, But what we are saying is that all of these natural remedies did help her, and we have documented evidence and proof of that. On the 30th of April 2017, we did session 1, and she wasn't on any medications at this point. She presented with lymph nodes removed from both sides of the neck. Half her tongue was cut out. She had a left leg graft on the muscles, and it was sewn to the right side of the tongue. She was free of cancer at that time, but they found a lump on the right side of the neck, which they said that they were going to keep monitoring. She had severe scarring and scar tissue across the whole of the neck from ear to ear and down to the top of the chest as well. She had extreme pain in both shoulders, but right shoulder had limited mobility due to the nerve damage due to the surgeries. Her left leg had no feeling, sensation, or circulation. She had overall body weakness, and her thigh was numb from where they had cut the muscle. This situation had also caused fungal toenails on her left foot. She had severely impaired speech. There was excessive saliva, but she was unable to control the tongue. And she also had a lot of chest pain above the right breast. Normally, she had a very balanced diet, and she ate twice a day. She had bowel movement twice a day and had good water intake. She had very high stress levels with a new baby who was now 10 months old. She was not breastfeeding. She had major depression. She had a very gray pallor on her face, very down and negative. She felt despondent, helpless, and traumatized. She had lost faith in doctors and hospitals, and she was slouching with a very stiff body and in a lot of pain. At the start of the session, the tip of her tongue was pain level 10 out of 10, 1 being the lowest and 10 being the highest. Her chest and nerve pain in her shoulders and arms was 10 out of 10, and her right shoulder was 10 out of 10 pain-wise, and she had limited mobility. So I did an intensive treatment plan on her. The point was to promote lymphatic drainage over her whole body and get the blood circulation so that she could get sensations back and have some pain relief. We needed to do it intensively around her head, neck, and chest area, as the lymph nodes were removed and could not drain her head or neck. So that's the beauty of Hijama cupping therapy. If our own immune system and lymphatic drainage system does not work properly, Hijama helps to replace that system, and it serves as a means to extract any kind of excess fluids or toxic blood from the system. For this particular client, the Hijama actually became her temporary lymph node so that she could get rid of any junk in the body. We focused mainly on the torso and the thighs. So we did moving cupping with olive oil on the abdomen, chest, and breast. And obviously we covered her for modesty. We also did it on the legs and neck. I did manual hand massage on her face, chin, jaw, and head because it was quite painful with the cups, and I didn't want to traumatize her in any way. We also did fixed cupping all over the whole body, wherever the pain was, and we used cluster cupping formats. So we just put lots of cups in the areas that she had the most pain. The Hijama was done on her upper chest, neck, shoulders, left thigh, and next to the scar and chin. And that was lots of different cups in different sizes, depending on where the location was. Then I turned her over and I did moving cupping with olive oil on her whole back. And then we also did Hijama all over the upper back area. So that included the kahil area, the neck, shoulders, and lower back. Then I also massaged. And then at the end, we used coconut oil to seal all of the Hijama points, as well as using it to reduce the scarring on her neck. SubhanAllah, by the end of the session, it really truly was a miracle. She said that she could start feeling the tip of her tongue, and the pain had reduced to 5 out of 10. Her chest and nerve pain had reduced to 6 out of 10, and her right shoulder had 0 pain level. SubhanAllah, she had full mobility back, and she was able to move her arm freely and comfortably. She had immediate speech improvement, and she had relaxed jaw and chin muscles, and the sensation had returned to her tongue. The saliva actually reduced, so she wasn't dribbling as much, and she was able to have clearer speech because she could feel where her tongue was being placed when she was talking. In the aftercare, we gave her honey water, dates, and we also gave her pink salt, a small crystal for her to suck on, and that was to oxygenate her body as well as give her sensation on the tongue. We advised her to start the hydrogen peroxide therapy, herbal remedies, get regular Hijama done, do exercise, as well as suck on a pink salt crystal daily. We told her to cut out red meat for a week, and she was encouraged to do juicing, increasing hydration, simple stretches, and keep applying coconut oil and olive oil daily to the hijama incisions and the whole neck to reduce the scar. We booked the next session 1 week later. These are the images before that session. You can see the scars are literally from ear to ear, so it goes all the way across. It's from side to side, under each ear, all the way across. And this is the picture of her thigh. So what they did was actually cut out part of this muscle from her thigh, and then they put that into her tongue and attached it. So basically she has part of her leg in her mouth now, subhanAllah. This was all very painful. Her leg was numb, and even the scar tissue was very painful. So when I was doing the cupping, I did the cups around the area to rejuvenate the tissues and muscles and make sure that she had ample blood flow and circulation. The key was to oxygenate the area and to keep the blood flow going. And we also applied lots of coconut oil along the scar, which helped the healing, especially with the stitching. For session 2, it was carried out a week later, and we did the review at the start. So when she came, she said that her tongue feels much better, and there was overall general pain for 1 week after the hijama, but it's been 7 out of 10. So before she came in session 1, it was 10 out of 10 all over. Then it reduced immediately after the session, and then over the next week, the average level of pain was 7 out of 10. She said that her shoulder felt much better and lighter, and her right shoulder only hurts in the evenings, and that was probably from weakness and too much activity in the daytime. She had more color in her face, there was more blood circulation, and she felt that she was more sleepy in the day, and that was her body coming out of the trauma phase and now entering into a phase of rejuvenation and recovery. So her body was telling her that it needed more sleep and rest so that she could recuperate quickly. She said that the detox was very intense with the hydrogen peroxide alongside the hijama, but it was forcing energy shifts and making her body rest. She was feeling a bit sick from that, but she noticed that there was mucus in her urine due to the detox as well, which was good. Her body was getting rid of all of the bad things inside her systems. She noticed that her daily bowel movement increased to 4 times daily, which is good because it helped to cleanse the whole body. And she said that she had excellent healing times on all of her hijama incisions. Overall, within a week, she said she was feeling much more positive and hopeful, and she was researching cancer and natural therapies now. She said that she felt more active and empowered. She did feel very angry at the doctors for forcing her to have the second surgery for no reason, as it was not even cancer. She was trying to do light walks and juicing and sticking to the treatment plans that we had given her. She said that the pink salt crystal therapy had helped her tongue to heal, and it made her tongue much softer, and it was more soothing, and there was more sensation. She said that she was walking in a straighter line and she was more mobile, and she had noticeable healthy weight loss due to the water retention reducing from the hijama. Her overall demeanor was very different and positive. She said that her upper thigh was still numb and she had been performing ruqya. She said the tip of the tongue was 7 out of 10 with pain levels. She said the chest and nerve pain was 8 out of 10, and her right shoulder was 8 out of 10 with limited mobility. She said her left thigh was still numb, and last week we noticed that no blood had come from the hijama cups, and that was because there was such poor circulation, it just wasn't moving around, so there wasn't much blood to come out. Again, the goals were to promote blood circulation and lymphatic drainage, so we focused on the chest and the upper back areas. I did manual hand massage on her face, chin and jaw, and the head. And we also did fixed cupping all over the body, wherever the pain was, in the cluster cupping formats. And that was a very powerful way to get muscle tone back as well, and strength. We did hijama on the upper back, the neck, shoulders, left thigh next to the scar and the chin. And I also did moving cupping on the whole back again. Intensive moving cupping on the legs and hijama on the leg next to the surgery scar, knees and feet. And I did reflexology on her feet as well. That was to help her with the fungal toenail issue. We also use coconut oil for the neck scars as well, and the hijama sealing. At the end of that session, you can see the results. The pain had gone down on the tip of the tongue to 4 out of 10 from 7 out of 10. The chest nerve pain had gone down to 5 out of 10 from 8 out of 10. And the right shoulder was down to 4 out of 10 from 8. She also had full mobility back in her shoulder and arms. She said her right shoulder felt better. The whole neck and back felt lighter and relaxed. She had sensation and feeling in the thigh muscle, and she had ticklish feet and could feel sensation and blood circulation. She had color in her cheeks and she felt positive and happy. Again, we gave the honey water, dates, and pink salt crystal, and we gave the same follow-up treatment plan. And the goal was to try to reduce the scarring as well. We advised her to see a herbalist to naturally thin the blood as well and improve the condition of the blood. Here are images of this client after the treatments. You can see the scarring has already reduced from the stitches. This is the image of her foot. This is where she had fungal toenails. Because they'd done the surgery on the leg, on the thigh, basically killed off most of the muscles and blood circulation in her feet, and that's what caused these problems here, and the numbness as well. The following week, we did session 3, and that was on the 16th of May 2017, and we had some excellent results. The client said that she'd gone for scans and blood tests, and the doctors were still advising chemo, even though she didn't actually have cancer. The nurse was shocked at the good condition of her blood and asked if she was taking blood thinners. And subhanAllah, she hadn't taken any medicine or painkillers at all. This was just from the hijama cupping therapy and the herbs that she'd been taking. Hijama serves as a natural blood thinner, and it's very useful for improving the condition of cellular health. She'd been taking herbs and cannabis oil since last week. She was sensing major detox from all of the treatments, a combination of hijama herbs, hydrogen peroxide, salt therapy, and juicing had all helped to cleanse her body. She said that she was experiencing excessive sweating and bad odor, and that's because of the herbs and her body cleansing. She said that her tongue feels much better, and overall general pain for 1 week after hijama has been 6 out of 10. So that was awesome. We were getting some really, really good quantifiable results. She said that her shoulder felt much better and lighter. The right shoulder only hurts in the evenings when it's 6 out of 10, and that's only if triggered in the shower or picking up the baby. So we knew that it was going to be a slow, steady process for her to recover fully and get her mobility back. She said it was generally much more improved and she only had intermittent pain. The pain in her breasts had reduced now to 0 out of 10, and her chest was feeling much better generally. She said that her big toe feels better and her nail is growing again. She said that the neck scars were healing nicely and most of the stitches had dissolved, but there were still some behind her ears. She had been applying oil 1 to 2 times daily and felt that there was a huge improvement. She said that she was getting pins and needles and more sensation in her tongue and jaw, which she did not have before. The pain was also reduced. She said the vaginal discharge reduced, she had decreased bowel movement, so now her body was beginning to normalize. So she'd gone through the initial impactful detox period, and now her body was normalizing. She had more color in her face. She felt very positive and hopeful, and she was feeling much more active and very empowered. So we checked with her about pain levels. Generally speaking, it had reduced a lot. Her right shoulder was 6 out of 10, and her left thigh had feeling now, and some blood came from the hijama on the thigh, knee, and feet in this session. So we carried on with the same treatment plan and did it on most of the locations that I'd said. I had planned to do head cupping on her in the 3rd session, but she felt dizzy, so we stopped and we didn't do it on the head that time. By the end of the session, her pain had reduced to 2 out of 10 and she had full mobility back in her right shoulder. She was able to move everything fully, and her whole neck and back felt lighter and relaxed, and she had more sensation and feeling in the thigh muscle. Also, I noticed that lots of blood came out, very bright and vibrant in the upper back, with lots of lymph too, meaning there was lots of extra fluids which were not actually blood. And that shows that the hijama was aiding her body to perform the lymphatic drainage. It was the replacement for her. We could see the herbs and the hijama had thinned her blood, and naturally in a positive way. Another thing which was very profound was that I noticed she had hair growth on the leg muscle part of her tongue. On one level, this was very good. It showed a miracle because the human body can regenerate muscles and tissues which are damaged. But on the other hand, it was a bit concerning because she had hair in her mouth. But regardless, she couldn't really feel it anyway. Again, we gave her the honey water, dates, and the pink salt crystal. And we advised her to continue with the same treatment plan and carry on as we'd been advising for the last couple of weeks. The next treatment was meant to be 2 weeks later, and this is just over a 3-week period that we got these amazing results. And literally, it was a miracle. I'm going to show you her tongue now. So this was what the tongue looked like now. Just after 3 weeks of hijama, her body was beginning to recover and heal naturally. And the fact that she got hair on her leg muscle inside her mouth showed that things were beginning to normalize. Obviously, her body was confused. That muscle thought it was probably still in the leg, and now all of a sudden it's gone into the mouth. So obviously it was a new location for the muscle. But alhamdulillah, she was able to get more sensation. Her speech cleared up as well. To this day, it is still slurred. It's not 100%, but she's definitely much better now. You can see that after the massage and the constant application of oils, her scarring did reduce and the stitches were beginning to disappear fully. And it's definitely got better along here as well, alhamdulillah. Then you can see that. On this side, it's almost completely gone with the stitches. So that's the case. We did continue seeing her. She did improve over time. She had another baby boy since then, alhamdulillah. She's still not 100%. Her speech is still slurred, but it showed us some amazing results, and we tracked them very carefully because this was one of our strongest cancer cases. So even though we didn't really get to see her during the time she had cancer, we were fully involved in the recovery and healing period afterwards. And alhamdulillah, thank God she didn't get the chemotherapy done. There really was no need for it because she had no cancer. And the hijama really helped. The body went into overdrive. We're trying to recover naturally. And this is a lesson for all of you. This is something for you to understand, that the body can naturally heal itself. And that's how Allah has blessed us. And then on top of that, hijama cupping therapy really is a divine treatment that it can be a cure for so many conditions. And you can see the results right here. You can see the photos. You know how severe the case was originally and then how much the client changed and felt better. And the main thing is mindset. We found that once she'd educated herself and she'd empowered herself with knowledge, she felt much better. And one of the major steps to recover physically is to be able to deal with things mentally and emotionally. So we really encouraged a lot of positive mindset training and helping her to refocus and get better. And knowing that she could get better gave her hope. Where she had a lot of rage and anger towards the doctors, we were trying to get her to channel that in a positive way towards healing and to make herself better and more functional and mobile for her children. Alhamdulillah. This case in particular had a very profound effect on my experience of hijama. Alhamdulillah, we see many miracles all the time when we're treating clients. But this case in particular was very poignant for us because she was a relative and we saw her results from start to finish. And on top of that, it just really taught me about the power of healing within the body, especially when I saw that after 3 weeks, her tongue had grown hair on it. And that meant that the leg muscle was actually integrating with her mouth muscles as well and her tongue. And it just showed such amazing improvement, and that was really profound for us. And for her to be feeling so much pain and be virtually numb in so many locations like her legs and her shoulders and throat, once we'd done the hijama, it just showed us amazing results. We always believed it anyway, but now we know 100% that hijama can really treat people in a positive way, and you should never give up hope. So whenever people come to us with cancer, either early stages or during the cancer, if it's very late stages, or even if it's during chemo or surgery, we know that just recovery afterwards can be very quick. Hijama cupping therapy will definitely help to boost the immune system and improve the condition of the client and increase their recovery time as well as decrease their pain. So that's one really important thing for all of you to remember. I hope you've benefited from this case. We've had dozens of other cancer cases too, and we actually love treating people with cancer because it's such a challenge for us, especially when Western medicine or doctors say that there's no cure for cancer. In some cases, obviously, there isn't cure, but Allah has told us there is shifa in certain foods, there is healing in certain foods, and in the Quran. So if you treat people with a combination of all of those items, as well as faith and following a good, healthy diet plan, we feel that anybody can recover quite easily. So if you think that this could benefit you, please do try hijama cupping therapy if you have cancer yourself or any kind of abnormal cells in the body, any tumors, anything like that. If you have it yourself or if you know any family or friends who are suffering from this, we strongly advise that you get hijama cupping therapy performed on you intensively. And we also suggest that you learn how to perform it yourself. And you can see the benefits of knowing how to do hijama cupping therapy just from seeing the results here. So if you are interested, then please click on any of the links below. You can get access to our Hijama Diploma and treatment plans, as well as the Google group, and find out exactly how you can help your clients. Thank you very much for your time. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum.